going to be introducing a podcast called Gym Talk Podcast, featuring some pretty dope people, heavy hitters, family members, things of that nature. Basically wanting to spotlight the integrity of the fitness world, the purpose of the fitness world, the therapy of the fitness world, the healing of the fitness world, and want to make sure I involve and include all those people that I know are also involved in that world on a very serious, high, successful level, to the point where they believe in it. Not only they believe in it, they encourage other people. One, they see what it's done for them mentally, physically, and emotionally, and they know what it can do for you. There's a lot of vices that people go to a lot of shit for saving and helping and healing, but it really, really starts within yourself and knowing how to treat yourself, your body, your core, your temple, putting in, or being able to put out what you put into your body. You want to make sure you're putting the right shit in your body, right. And you want to make sure you're handling your body accordingly, because we do a lot of wear and tear, subconsciously and consciously. That before we know it, we in our mid-30s, and I say we, our culture, our people, we in our mid-30s with problems that people who in their 60s and 70s was having, right. And now we dealing with diabetes like it's the flu, like it's a common cold, what I mean, like diabetes and blood pressure and cancers and people having strokes and mental health, the way we're breeding our children now based off of the things that we're feeding ourselves, doing cycles of pregnancy, and the people that we laying with and the things that they're putting in their body, or the lack of care that they are incorporating in their day-to-day. So I do want to touch on a lot of things as I move forward with this podcast. This is our very, 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 very first episode, and this is going to be a special one. This is a home-based situation. I'm going to introduce to you my family, my big little cousin. Hey, my big little cousin. Yes, y'all may know him as Short Dog the Pimp, you know what I'm saying? That's little Aaron. I used to beat his ass all the time, when we was coming up. That's who he is to me. But he is somebody that has an incredible story to tell, I believe, because I watched him go from a negative to a positive. I watched what fitness has done for him and how he now is home, encouraging a lot of people, working with a lot of people, also encouraging myself. The way we even reconnected was so authentic and so genuine after so many years of separation. It's just not even ironic, because it was meant, it was divine that we came back into each other's life in a space where we're adults, yes. And we're both heavy in the fitness world. Not only that, we are blood tied to so many people that are all in the fitness world now. There's so many of us that are in the same realm. So I'm going to shed light on everybody. But it's your day, baby. It's a short story. We've been waiting for this. The streets been waiting for the short story. So the idea of what I want to do with my cousin today is kind of give you all some feedback. I know people that have been watching me as well over the course of the time. I appreciate the support you all have handed out to me.
Thank you.
On this journey, because I was a big jump and it was hard. My health was declining, things of that nature. I was going through some transitional shit, so I really had to get into taking better care of myself. Right. And I could not have reconnected with him at a better time than now, realizing you need people more than you do, once you have them in your life. And so I'm grateful. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're back, I'm glad that we are where we are in life and we're on the same page. And I appreciate you, your time, your energy that you put into helping me be better, physically and mentally, because that shit helps all around. And I love you, I admire you, I think you're an incredible story, you are an incredible being, you stand on all 50, you don't play about your family, and you have really, really encouraged and influenced a lot of people to do the right motherfucking thing. So with that said, I would like for you to introduce yourself, and then I want you to go ahead and let the people know who you are, what you came from, what you became. You got a story to tell, baby, and this is your time to tell you from you.
Amen. Amen. Well, good afternoon, people. As you know, a lot of y'all call me Short, but my birth name is Aaron. I come from 1504 Delafield Place, Northwest. We uptown.
That's
the house we grew up in. You know, and it's and I always tell people too, that household we grew up in was very structured. Like I don't portray to not have nothing as we was growing up. We was well taken care of as we grew up. And my cousin Kim grew up with me in that same household. So like, you know, I don't like tuck bluff to people and be like, you know, I come from the bottom of the barrel, because I really didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't come from the bottom of the barrel, but I came from the streets. I definitely came from the streets. And really what pushed me to the streets was my mother spoiling me as a young boy, and my family know that, you know, I always had all my house and everything was always the excitement. Even when we moved away and me and my mother moved on our own, my house was always the hangout house. Everybody always wanted to come because I had all the toys. I had all the I had everything. I used to win best dress in school. I always won most popular. I've always had this light shined on me of being somebody, or being him, as we say today. You see, so like my cockiness and my arrogance comes from me being a kid. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, but what ran me to the streets is that my best friend, my first lady ever in my life, had she had, as all households, some mothers have, different men problems with their fathers, and their mothers with their husbands, so your fathers is not around, and my father was around, and then he wasn't around, was around again, then he wasn't around, but long story short, he wasn't there at all, so it made my mom had to go explore and find another. And with that, as the other she found wasn't shit either, excuse my language, so and to see my baby hurt and like and cry over things that she has accumulated, because she was a hard working woman who completed school, completed college, very, very smart, everything, landed a job in the IRS, and just, and took care of me by herself. You feel what I'm saying? And gave me the world, had me the, the spoilest kid around the way, anywhere. But, so when this dude, comes into our life, and after my father, he shook shit up, and, he and for me to see my mother in pain and hurt, I'm not letting nobody, I don't care how small I am or how young I was, I'm going to shake you up. And that's what I did, and this is how my story really starts off, because I had to terrorize this dude who I thought terrorized my mother. And when I terrorized him, I terrorized him. So I put hands on him. I did any and everything I could, because he stole from my mother. He gave people belongings of my mother that was around the neighborhood. So, that was like an embarrassing moment for me to see somebody, but the respect I had around the neighborhood and things like that with the boys and, around it, that he would give my mother's whole car away. He was smoking crack, you know what I'm saying? And little do I know later on down the line that he turned my mother into a smoker as well. But I never knew it for a long time. But at 16, like 14, 15, and 16 was like my worst years ever, because he was into smoking heavy, giving my mother stuff away, pawning her furniture, doing a lot of things that, I'd come home from school and be like, so I couldn't concentrate in school. Homework wasn't, I'm not thinking about nothing, because while other kids are doing homework, I'm out looking for my mother's furniture in her car. So
you should traumatize
so
that shit play a role.
It threw my equilibrium off, for real. So instead of me being a little boy continuing to be a little boy and finish out being a little boy, I had to grow up old. I had to grow up older. I had to become an adult quicker. And it was for the good and it was for the bad, like any situation. You feel what I'm saying? But one thing led to another, and I was putting my hands on this man so much that my mother wanted to save me from just going to jail for a long time or even having my life taken or anything. But it didn't pan out that way. So the way she did save me was that I told you I was spoiled. So being as though when my mother left me at 16 years old, she left me. She really left me at 16. And I didn't see my mother again till I was 21. As Kim know, like our whole family thought my mother was like actually kidnapped or gone. Like
we didn't, nobody could find it.
Like
we're not the type of family where like if somebody go missing, it's just like whatever they resurface. Everybody was looking for them. Everybody was looking for it. We could not find it. Our grandmother, everybody was looking for it.
Yeah.
So she really, vanished. This is the real thing.
So with that being said, that is really what caused me to go to the street. Because like I told you, I grew up in a nice household. I grew up with all the finer things in life I needed, for real, as a kid. That pushed me to the streets. And being as though I was already popular around the neighborhood and everything for my toys and for everything that, my mother bought, all the video games and all that, it pushed me to when it pushed me to the streets embraced me with open arms, and I also grew up under my mother's brother, which one, his name is Uncle Michael. And, everybody knows, like, he was really a hothead in the family, real nice with his hands and feet and, and taught me and his children how to wreck, how to fight, how to do, how to do it all. He even taught Kim, my little cousins, which is her kids, how to fight and, and become, and to this day, they box, they use their feet,
martial arts,
that's where we came from, so it was nothing for us to get down and dirty if we ever got disrespected. So, I started going to the streets. And, I went to the streets because this lifestyle that I accumulated was, I always had to have everything. I always had new shoes and new clothes, everything. I always had that. So because my mother was gone, it wasn't going to stop me from acquiring and getting these things. So I had to get it by all means. And I did. So I went to the street, and my first thing was, I'm going to be honest, I never picked up or sold crack a day in my life because I knew that is what took my mother away. So I wasn't doing that. And also I was scared of going to jail for a long time.
Yeah.
So I always said, well, if I sell this weed, because one thing, the less offense, but I love to smoke it at the time.
Right.
So I was like, I can sell this weed and I can smoke for free. So me and the rest of my family, me and my cousins, and we kind of had a weed business at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So
trapaholics.
Yeah, trapaholics. You know what I'm saying? We was in it.
Running those streets real bad.
And I left uptown because I'm gonna be honest, uptown was really getting me in trouble. And it's crazy because years later, it's like I used to sit in the house and play the video game, smoke all day, and just wait for my phone to ring, and then go to the club at night. That was my life. Where I got bored sitting in the house, and I wanted to go back outside. So I started exploring again. Lo and behold, I landed back uptown. And uptown landed me 35 years. So uptown landed me 35 years.
Just for a second. Thank God we sitting here laughing about this.
Oh my God.
You see, baby. Woo. I mean, this is fresh. You ain't been on a year. We sitting here laughing about this. God is good
all the time.
Okay, go ahead and tell your story because that just gave me chills. Like that 30. When you said 35-year sentence, like
35-year sentence. I was landed with that 35-year sentence. And just to put it on record that my date to come home was 2034. They just let me out of here last year, December 23rd, 2 days before my mom's birthday. December 23rd, 2024. So I'm just letting you know how God is so great. How God is so great. And when I first went in, I went in on July 16th of 2004. And as I told you again, I came out July 23rd of 2024. But when I first went in, for some reason, I told myself, I'm not going to do all this time. I'm going to do, and I started saying, I'm going to do 20 years. And it's crazy. I spoke it into existence. That's why I know how powerful the tongue is. Yeah. I watch it because I told myself, cuz, that I wasn't going to do all this time. Yeah. But I said, I'm going to do 20 years. And I want to make it home before I'm 50.
That's wild.
And that's wild. And I did 20 years in 4 months. And I made it home before I was 50. You did. So, yeah, and it's just crazy because I went in there. When I went in there with, with a mindset like, how I'm going to do this? Yeah. I didn't even begin on thinking how I was going to do it. So I started at first, I
was going to say, what was like your first 2 years and then your first 5 years, like mentally and then physically, what was that for you?
Well, my first 2 years, I was in and out of court, going back to court and everything, and
it was most of look like mentally, just looking forward to them
days. And I'm be honest, it was a dark cloud. I was scared. I was scared. I was crying. I ain't know because I'm like, I ain't gonna see my family for a long time, and like, I'm not the type of a person that was in and out of jail. My family, like I told you, I grew up in a great household. Yeah. So I'm not the type of person that was in and out of jail. Never was. Never has been. That's why I tell y'all, this was my first and definitely my last time. Amen. I didn't go to jail when I was a juvenile or anything like that. I didn't go to jail or landed my first real charge. I went to jail at 18 for some weed. I did like 30 days and 30 days. And okay, wow, you know what I'm saying? I came out of jail like, I still thought I was untouchable. Right. The second time, the next time I went to jail at 27 years old. I ain't come home till I was 47. Right then and there, it was like, oh, hold up. Oh, these people ain't playing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah. I really had to find myself. Because when I first went to jail, like I told you, now I'm gonna go back to this. I told y'all I was spoiled. So I'm gonna tell you how my mother leaving me helped me. Because it took me out that spoiled state of mind. Now I told y'all my mother left me at 16. I did see her on my 21st birthday when she came back up Northwest to visit her mother, which is my grandmother. And she came back with the disease, multiple sclerosis. Yeah. And my grandmother, which is her mother, had the same thing. And as I was a young child and growing up, I used to have to pick my grandmother up and carry her up the steps and take her everywhere, and I seen my grandmother deteriorate her bones because it's a bone disease. And I seen her deteriorate from it. Now, lo and behold, when my mother comes back into my life at 21, she has the same thing. So now I'm picking my mom up, taking her up the steps and taking her down the steps. So, I got to spend one day with her, on my birthday. I got to spend one day with both my babies, my mother and my grandmother. I took them out to eat and, we just enjoyed ourselves. So I thought she was going to stay the whole weekend with us, My mother and my grandmother gave me a call that morning and told me that my mother had left. Well, at 21, when she left, I found out that she had went down Tennessee with her new husband, with the dude I used to put hands on, because that's where he was originally from. But she met him up Northwest too because he had family in Northwest. But found out that he really was from Tennessee. But he took her back down there, and we really couldn't get to her
Right.
or know what was going on. But as when he took her back down there, we had got a call. Me and Uncle Michael had got a call that Milton, that's my mother's husband, not her ex-husband, but that was her husband, but he passed away before my mother. Again, smoking crack, he couldn't get off of it. But let me put this on a record, because when you learn something and you know something, you just don't bash nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this dude was the most horriblest dude in life, but I didn't see what my mother saw in him,
Mm-hmm.
and I never, and it wasn't for me to see what my mother saw in him.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I grew up and seen that movie Baby Boy, and seen when the dude was in the house with the mother, and then and the mother told him, "You can't love me like you know what I'm saying, love me." Well, this was more than just sex and all that. Like, this man, rest in peace, Milton. This man really loved my mother. He just had an addiction.
He was fucked up.
He was just fucked up. But he loved the shit out of her. For real, for real. Guess what? He didn't put his hands on her when she was sick and everything. Like,
it's wild, because I actually thought he was physically abusive. He was never physically
never.
abusive.
The only thing was abuse. I was the physically one. I was the one that abused her.
And that's why I thought you was so hard on his ass. I thought he was taking your mother.
Only thing he did was take everything she ever worked for in her life. Just kept stealing from her. Pawn.
Yeah,
He pawned her. Like, you come home, you're an addict. You know what I'm saying? You'll come home.
Money.
Her whole couch and furniture will be gone.
Yeah.
So he took. He took her things.
That's good to know, though, because I really thought that.
I got to put it on the record.
No, that's good, because I never even knew that.
He didn't put his hands on her.
I really thought that.
He didn't put his hands on her at all. So when I found this out, I was like, I was blown away. And like I said, he was a good dude, very good dude, And when I seen that movie Baby Boy, and she said that you can't love her, you can't love her the way he does. It came to me as I was an adult, like, I understand, because being though, look, I don't care how much crack or everything he smoked. Guess what? My mother died with no bed sores.
Right. and people don't even, and then that's another thing. Her condition. Your
like,
mother was almost in a vegetated state, like she was balled up, that the MS had taken over her so bad.
Was worse than grandma.
Yeah, she couldn't move. People don't know,
He kept her flipped.
The damage that disease causes.
And now, before the MS came, when she was living, when I was living with them and stuff like this, the things that, I used to notice, but the things that go on today in this world, like how a lot of men now play the role of women, and women play the role of men now. See, I grew up with that, because I seen my mother take care of a man financially wise, though. But he took care of the household. He cleaned the household and, and cooked and everything for it, and really physically took care of her. So in my eyes, excuse my language, I said, that's a bitch nigga, because we take care of our whole household. And I grew up in a household over 1504 Delafield Place, where though the women cleaned the house and did all that, and all the men went to work. You know what I'm saying? Now the women might have went to work, but you know what I'm saying, but they did the women, the women, you know what I'm saying,
the household together.
Yeah, exactly. And the men went outside and fixed outside of the house and fixed the house and did, fix the cars and things like that. My grandfather, my grandfather did good, and that's because my grandmother, like I told you, had MS and everything. So granddad was a hell of a cook.
Oh yeah.
And and made sure he, but he did the whole thing.
That damn leg of lamb leg with that mint jelly he used to make all the time.
Bad motor scooter. Oh my God. Yeah, man.
Leg of lamb. Woo! That mint jelly. But I was like, Alex making that damn.
What is this?
These are not lamb chops.
Yeah.
That's why I never liked lamb all my life.
I can get it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because when you said cooking, that was that distinct, that memory, because he stayed in the kitchen outside of Aunt Louise and grandmother.
He killed himself with the diabetes, because you know what I'm saying.
Stayed in the kitchen. He was cooking that shit though. He was cooking that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, that's how that's how I really became who I am today. Because, like I told you, I was very spoiled and all that. So my mother, once she left and everything like that, I really had to defend. I had to really fend on my own, and I had to go to the streets because I wanted them new shoes. I wanted them clothes. You see what I'm saying? I wanted this car. You know what I'm saying? I wanted something, and most important, I had to put a roof over my head because at 1504, you can't come in that house past 9 o'clock. So if you wasn't in the house past 9 o'clock, the doors get locked and you outside.
And you knew better than to ring that phone.
You knew
it was a landline, so that rang loud. You knew not to wake those people up in that household ringing that phone.
Exactly. And so, and if anybody knows, and if a lot of people I know from the streets, y'all know that it don't nothing start until after 9 o'clock. Okay. So the streets don't get to jumping until after 9. So I'm not going in that house. I got to be out here where it's jumping off at.
Right.
So long story short, I got into the streets a little too much.
No, the streets got your ass. That's what they swallowed you up, baby.
They swallowed me up.
They got you good.
Yeah, I got married to the streets. You know what I'm saying? And it told me, it said, you're not gonna divorce me. So one thing led to another. And like I told you, in July 16th, 2024, I landed a 35-year-old bed, and I can truly say, I went to jail for something that I've never done in my life, never thought of being when I was a kid. And that's why I say it's never hard for me not to go back to jail for something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because and I was even embarrassed to say what I did in jail. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I'm gonna be honest, the people in jail and everybody that I was around, they praised it. They praised my charge. They really praised my charge, but I was like, my charge was embarrassing to me because the people that know me before I even did that knew that I didn't never even have to do nothing. I always touched this. I always touched it. I always had a feel to get it. I always knew what to get. But greed got me in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Greed and trauma.
Greed and trauma.
Childhood trauma. Yeah.
I go with that, so, and one thing led to another, but I got in there and I thought it was the most darkest situation and I thought it was over, I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do and anything. And to be honest, my dark situation turned into the most shining light blessing I could ever, because it really changed me. And to go back to saying that, and I didn't even see how God was putting the pieces together. He took my mother away and had her leave me for a reason, because he said, where I'm gonna put you at, son, you can't go in here with this motherfucking crybaby spoiled attitude that you got, or you gonna get swallowed up. So I was like, as I got older and got mentally strong in this, I'm like, oh, I see the pieces. I'm seeing connect. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, okay. So now, because now when my mother left me for them years and everything like that, even before I came to jail, I didn't want a handout from nobody. I didn't want nobody, because I had to get it on my own, because I had to keep a roof over my head. So couldn't nobody take care of me the way I was going to take care of me and the way the Creator was going to guide me. So, it just strengthened me mentally, physically. And then when I really, and our household always believed in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? We got a Christian household. So I didn't go to prison and become a Muslim and things like that. And no disrespect, man, because to nobody, so I just stayed at who I was and where I really came from. But when I got in prison, God, he gives an outlet. He makes it where as though you're going to get to know him some way. Sometimes it's with people, it's horrible accidents that make a person where they can't even move or nothing no more. But he gets their attention. He's going to get our attention some way. And I'm so blessed that he got my attention that way. but left it where as though I was able to physically move, physically get up, but most important, come back a better person and physically help others.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I learned this by physically helping others in prison. And that was really my escape and my out. Because, when I first went in there, we on DC time. We got to, we're not considered a gang in DC. We're considered like DC blacks. So, it's all of a gang, and it's like, we're like the outcasts, the black sheeps of the federal prison. Like, everybody looks at us like them DC boys is, they fierce in a way. They fierce, you know what I'm saying? But it's men all over the place. So I don't want I don't want this to like go over nobody's head or me offend nobody, because it's men everywhere. And that's the problem with us in the system too. We feel that a lot of us go in there like it's only men in DC. So we curry situations in prison and get things started until we meet our match, or until we know and we find out that it's men everywhere. You feel what I'm saying? But a lot of us have lost our lives and things like that in that system for thinking that it can't happen to us. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So me going back, at first when I went in, you know what I'm saying, I was on homie time real hard. And it's crazy because to the day I left out of jail, I was on homie time. It's just the way I switched up my life and everything. My homies changed my position of who I was on homie time and put my position at a higher homie level.
Now, kind of elaborate on that a little bit, like what that means for like, if you even with the homie time thing, for people that really don't understand the concept of that, like when you go in, so like for granted, you went in with people, you went in with a group of people,
right?
When you went in, was everybody separated? How did that go?
Well, when we was over DC jail, we were all together. But no, but we were separated like on different tiers and things like that. But we always went to court and everything together, except for the snitches. Shout out to the rats, man. We still love you, Joe. And guess what? It wasn't because you snitched on me. It's because I met you. So it was because of me. But
I like that.
Yeah, it wasn't because you had nothing to do with that was just your makeup. That was just your character. You did what you had to do. You know what I'm saying? That's who you were.
That's accountability, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how you take accountability for your own shit. Because I should have never been entwined with you dirty motherfuckers in the first place.
That's it. That's all. So shout out to the cheese eaters. Yeah. But when you going, like when we was in there, babe, like we'd go to court and stuff together. But now when we get sentenced and they get ready to send us out the feds, they split us all up and we all go different places. Okay. You feel what I'm saying? We all go different places. So
you didn't really serve time with any of your co-defendants.
Nah, I ain't getting none. Now some of them was able to run into each other, but me, no, I didn't get to serve time with them. So but like we always stayed in contact, email, shout out to the smugglers who used to smuggle the cell phones in. We thank you for that too. Y'all kept me close to my families too. Amen. You know what I'm saying? Amen. Yeah. And I called my grandmother and everything before they passed away and all on the phone. So thank you so much. It is a good in that too. I told you it's always a good in a bad situation. But we they split us up. You see what I'm saying? And homie time, cuz is like homie time is like really like you get there and you're really on DC time. If you're on Memphis, you're on Memphis time. The Bloods, blood, they on blood time. You see what I'm saying? So, you got to and it wasn't nothing or no one I wanted to do but homies. Yeah. It was all homies, you know what I'm saying? So if a homie might get into it in another unit or outside or something. You see what I'm saying? When you hear about it, you first went out the door and you on front line. What's up? What's going on? How we gonna do this? Yeah. What we want smoke now. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But through all this, I always was physically fit. You know, I came from playing basketball, gymnastics, and all that. So I always was kind of physically fit, you know. But
being a whore.
Yeah, that too. You know what I'm saying?
Kept your cardio up.
Yeah. You know, sorry about that. You know, yeah, and
leave it to me. You know, I'm putting it on.
Yeah, you know, forgive me. I'm going through a situation right now with somebody I truly and dearly love like that, for for just being me. I've always, but it just came from it came from a part, and I'm not blaming it on Lynn. It just came from me. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find myself, trying to find, you know what I'm saying, and then with Lynn, and I seen like Lynn really left me for dude. I always say, like, if the woman who brought me into this world left me for some penis, what makes you think y'all not gonna do it? You know what I'm saying?
There's a toxic mentality and lifestyle that comes with childhood traumas that a lot of people don't understand.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? Like, when you are surrounded by certain things as a kid, you were a kid. Yes, teenager, you were a kid.
Right.
You're learning the ropes. You knew one thing. And one thing about young dudes and their mamas, that's a different type of relationship. I got sons, you know what I'm saying? And whereas though we may not always see eye to eye and clash, them they ready to go to war about me, just like you was for, you know, right. on any day.
Right.
But it's just like, people do not understand that, like, when you get to an adult part of your life, when you have suffered a degree of childhood traumas that, one, you never healed from, because you went from one extreme to another. You went from your mom to going into the system to not even being around, to coming home to your mom not even being here anymore.
And it's crazy. It's like, I only seen my mother that one time at 21, then to leave and go away when I was 27, to come back and never see, and like I was never gonna be able to touch my mother or see her again. Yeah. That's like kind of, you know what I'm saying? For real, I kind of still wake up with that blow, like, damn, you know, I seen her at 21. Now, mind you, she left me at 16. I didn't see her until she was 21, until I was 21.
Yeah.
Then I seen her for a few hours when I was 21, to never see her again.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, you know, and I battle, but I done had good people in my life
that you also came from trauma, like the relationship, what you went through with Milton, with your mom. You know what I mean? Like, it affected who you were going to be in a relationship with women when you got grown. And you didn't realize that until you got into a position where you started to take women serious, opposed to who you were before you went to jail. You was young, wild, and free. You know, when you really got to a space where jail humbled the fuck out of you. Prison humbled the fuck out of you. Changed your life in so many ways, to a point where it slowed you down and calmed you down. And when it's time for you to, like, really take relationships with women serious, you got this trauma with your first lady. You know what I mean? And all you know, like, trying to show love and be in love, when your idea and concept of what love was from a woman to a man, and what you witnessed and what you experienced with your mother, it fucked you up. It fucked you up to a place where you had to unlearn and relearn. And I want to say you're really kind of just in the process of relearning, because you just touching freedom. You just getting, you know, to move around. So, you know, just the idea of not so much beating yourself so much up about it.
Yeah, because I just learned how to love a woman in prison.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I just really learned how to love a woman in prison. I just started in prison. I learned to be more of a giver. Because I always been, you know, that spoiledness that come from, you know, being spoiled. You'll have a lot of selfish ways with you.
No question.
Because everything is given to you.
No question.
You see what I'm saying? So
you have expectations.
I had so I had to learn, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to love. Really, you know, prison made me respect women and love a woman's worth. Because in the prison system, for those of y'all don't know, those are your biggest supporters. That's who come see you in that visitor hall. That's who answers the phones for you.
That's who eat that shit that ain't on the cafeteria.
No question. That's who's going, you know, you know, when you go in that visitor hall, you don't see too many males in there. If the only males you're gonna see is us. You know, you're gonna see those women in there, you know, all type of women. So, you know, white, black, Chinese, they coming. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even matter. But they are coming. to support their men.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? Support their brothers, support their uncles, support their sons. They are there.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So that put a woman, like, my respect for a woman is way more respectful than I had for a man.
For sure.
Because for real, I grew up putting my niggas first.
Mm-hmm.
This how, you know what I'm saying? I grew up putting my niggas first. And my niggas ain't do nothing but really cause a nigga hard and pain and ain't care. When I went into that joint, I couldn't call my niggas for nothing.
Right. They ain't answer the phone.
Answer the phone. I couldn't even call them for real. I didn't even know their new numbers or nothing like that. But then women made sure that I stayed in contact with them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
We do, and y'all be playing with them.
Yeah, so you know, like that's you know, that's big. So right then and there, that's why I said prison. I didn't really go to prison. I went away to college. I went away to college.
Yeah, I like that.
I went away to change your mindset university.
Yes, indeed.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. High learning university, for real. Because once I learned how important and how loving the woman was, now that helped me to learn how to treat everybody. All no matter if you a snob or you a scumbag, I'm going to treat you the way you know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It was a voice and spoken to me, and it was God telling me that this is all I ever wanted from you, from all my children, is to help whoever you can. You help each other. Whatever your gift is, whatever you have, God wants you to put it into existence, but help people with it. Yeah. So that's where I became a giver. That's where I became a thinker. That's where I became, you know, like a helper. Period. So, you know, when people was down and out and everything, even I turned into a certified fitness trainer and a nutritionist in prison, I was also a certified mentor. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, like, brothers would really come and vent to me and pour out everything, and I'm just gonna give them law and how I go, and you know, and what they should do and what I think should be done, or just be their ear. Sometimes I wouldn't say nothing, just be their ear because they want to talk. Yeah. And see, you know what I'm saying? And you don't know how that just brightened up people's day. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what really turned and made what I now own, CEO of Complete Turnaround Fitness. That's how I came up with the name Complete Turnaround Fitness, because the school of higher learning that I went to completely turned me around. Really completely turned me around. You know, so
talk your shit, boy.
Yeah, it really
talk your shit now. Come on.
Really did
Complete
that.
Turn around.
Yeah. So that's how I really came up with that. Not only, and I seen it, and reason why it's complete turnaround, because I just didn't turn people around body wise, physically wise. I really turned them around mentally wise by teaching them how to eat, teaching them what not to put in their body. You know, even when you didn't come to, and it was hard because any compound I was on, the whole compound came to get fitness. But like I told you, it was people that came they wanted some psychology. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They wanted some therapy. Yeah. They wanted that. And they felt that because I taught fitness, and, you know, I taught fitness so well, and they seen me change and structure so many bodies. I didn't change. I'm talking about big 18-wheeler trucks to little two-door Corvettes. I'm talking about 400-pound people, and I bring you down to 227, 60. You know what I'm saying? 60-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm talking all of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you the language. I'm giving you the whole. You know. That was pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna break it. I appreciate it. I'm just gonna give you it all, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But this is what it did. And for people, when they seen that and they see that in actions, like, oh, this dude can change a person's whole look, a person's whole genetics. They, hold on, he might be sharp with a person with a person's mind. Well, yeah, guess what? As long as I'm helping you with your thinking, you know what it's doing for me. Right. You know what it's doing for me.
Right.
It's helping me with my thinking.
You feed me.
You see what I'm saying? Because guess what? You know, they consider me a leader. I consider myself a leader. Yeah. Don't get that twisted. And for real, like I said, I've really always been a leader from a child. You know, like they in the household. I told you when we was kids, if I was a bad kid, I'm gonna be honest, I was bad. You know, so if I did anything and set something off and started off, guess what? I had them follow me. They, you know what I'm saying? But guess what? The family, aunts, uncles, grandmothers, guess what? They knew when something went down. Guess what? I was the first one that was gonna get that ass whooped.
He was gonna be the first one to get his ass whooped, or some other shit went down. He was gonna be the first one to either call or don't tell Aaron. Yeah. And, you know, they knew like that was the top three. Amen. You was either gonna be your ass in trouble. Yeah. He was gonna be the first one they called if some shit really went down, or the motherfuckers like, please don't tell Aaron. Yeah. Yeah. Always that guy, like always that guy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, you know, and so I've always been that leader, but in my mind, and always why I'm being that leader, even while I'm giving this interview right now and talking about, see, I'm a student, because I go back and look at this interview 100 times and see what I left out, what I didn't do, or what I did that was great, or everything, because I'm a student. I'm always a student, and I'm always forever learning. You see what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, and that's why I like to be around great people, because, you know, I sit back and ingest and, you know, and soak in all their knowledge. And sometimes I just I be quiet. Or like when I'm around, like I might be around my cousin T, and he's so knowledgeable with things, you know, with all things and everything, because, I'm gonna be honest, he reads a lot too. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Especially like my cousin T, Kim, her brother, rest in peace, my cousin Chippy. They all used to read. My cousin Jesus, my cousin Ibrahim, my cousin Lauren. Like they are, they ain't, you know what I'm saying? They are bookworms.
Everybody is smart. Like
everybody. So I tell you, they didn't really come out of the like I told you, we ain't come out no slum household. I'm gonna be honest, like and see, I'm the realest. I'm the realest. Like out of all my cousins, for real, and I don't mean to use this word, I was just the slowest. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say dumb. I was just the slowest. I was the slowest to learn and slowest to everything, but I was the smartest when it came to the streets.
I don't even want you to claim that.
I'm
just going to say slowest. There was an alternative route.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You chose a different route that didn't require much thinking or the right thinking.
Right.
Because you made the wrong decisions. But that didn't mean you were any less smart, because you knew what the fuck you was doing. You was doing it. And you knew your ass ain't had no fucking business. You just chose an alternative fucking route. But that ain't make you no less smart, because you was a smart motherfucker.
I agree.
You went in smart, you came out smarter. So
praise God.
You always, don't do that to you. Yeah. I ain't going for that.
I ain't gonna do that to me. Yeah, shout out to my big little cuz, my little big cuz.
Don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? For correcting me on that.
Don't do no self bashing.
But that is how I really came into complete turnaround. Because and complete turnaround, I'm gonna be honest, it goes back to homie time. Complete turnaround saved me from jail politics, homie time, all that. Because now, when you see the men, and you know I'm a frontline nigga, like you just told the people how don't call Ern, don't call him, or about this, you know what I'm saying? So it went from homies calling, hey Slim, we got a situation, to man, short that gym, man. Short that gym, short doing something, short teaching, short training. No, we not gonna call them. I didn't tell them not to call me, because I'm still on homie time.
Right.
They decided because of my actions and seeing what I put the most energy in.
It's not smart.
You see what I'm saying? That they said we ain't, you know. So now that becomes another thing. Those was real dudes.
Yeah.
And I consider them as real friends.
Yeah.
That's why I deal with a lot of people that I was locked up with. We gave back a lot of time. I deal with a lot of people that we gave back a lot of time. We gave back a lot of time. A lot of us that I deal with was still supposed to be in it. We got over 500 years of time that we gave back. The people that I deal with, some of them y'all see them on my Instagram, my stories and all that. Yeah, we gave back that. I'm talking about literally. But what I'm saying is they really became, you can really tell, and especially the situation that got us in there, and we didn't get on that stand and bite that cheese. That's first and foremost. Oh, I can trust him, or you know what I'm saying, or I know where his characteristics at. You see what I'm saying? But also what I found out later on down the line is that a lot of these men were real friends.
Oh yeah.
They were real friends.
They stood on their own shit. Just like you did. It's like that accountability thing. When you said, you know what? I did it. You know, this is the role I played.
Yes.
I ain't gonna put this on nobody. I ain't gonna tell them, you know what I mean? This is the role that I played. Yeah. And you were actually surrounded by other men that took their shit. You know what I mean? They ain't put that on nobody else. Yeah. They own their shit. Yeah. And that's what made y'all unit solid. Yeah. You was surrounded by, no question. Even though y'all did some dumb shit.
Yeah, no question.
Y'all stood on y'all shit. Y'all made a fucked up decision.
No question.
Y'all had to follow through on that shit, you know? Face the consequences. And y'all did it.
Yeah, and you, and Cuzzo, you're so right, because that's what, you know what I'm saying? And I found out that those were also good friends and great men, you know what I'm saying? So, and for them to be like, we got a situation, but to pay attention and acknowledge that Short is over here in this gym, changing people's lives, doing this, doing that. No, we not going to call Short or get him in this bullshit. We just going to go in there and put him on point like, hey, bruh, hey, Short, look, we got into it with some niggas out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, you know, but look, nah, we don't want you to come out now. Just let you know if that nigga feels some type way back in the unit, or if a nigga feels some type way where he from back in the unit, you will know where you at. You see what I'm saying? Instead of, so you like, you know, it's like, all right.
The level of protection.
It's a level of protection. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Solid. Yourself to be solid. And you was covered.
Exactly. Yeah. So it went from my journey went from physical altercation to kind of an easy bed. Easy bed, because now I'm doing what I love. You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I tell, like, I started Complete Turnaround too. At first, like I told you, that's how I got the name Complete Turnaround. I started Complete Turnaround and really started working out and getting myself together because I had a girlfriend that I was with for a very long time, 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? And she, you know, when I came in, just being real, you know what I'm saying? Just being real, and all that time, I told her to go ahead and move, get some motion, do what you do. You see what I'm saying? And
doing the fair thing.
Yeah, doing the fair thing. And really ain't want the fair thing.
Yeah, that bitch better not. I swear to God, if I find out
you gonna do this. And look, so she did what she did. She got some motion. She got a lot of motion.
I'm not laughing.
You know what I'm saying? She got some motion. You know what I'm saying? You know, had two beautiful kids that I fuck with to the utmost. You know what I'm saying? And you know, at first I just wanted to shit on her. So I wanted to change my body. I changed my body and stuff at first for a woman. That's how I started getting into fitness.
Because I cell phone, you was putting them pictures out.
Because I wanted to check. Yeah, see, I'm talking about that's way before that. I ain't even had no phone.
Oh shit.
Back then when I had a flip phone. You know, them phones weren't even out yet.
Right.
Like smartphones and all that. Them shits weren't even out yet. Yeah. So I started. You know what I'm saying? I had a flip phone back then, so I couldn't really get no. You know what I'm saying? All I could do was take pictures in my tank top and send it home. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm taking pictures. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show this motherfucker. Oh yeah, you want to do this? I'm gonna show her.
She showed your motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she definitely showed me, right? So, you know, long story short though, but guess what though? Yeah, guess what? I got more than what I wanted. Indeed. It did a 360. It came back around full circle. You know what I'm saying? That's my Ace Boon Coon to this day. You know what I'm saying? I started, you know, once I told y'all, I started like working out for a woman at first. But then it started coming. I'm like, damn, hold on, I'm looking sweet. So now people are coming up and asking me, hey, Short, hey man, train me. You know, stuff. So now it becomes, So now I'm like, hold.
Trying to get like that.
So now though, hold on. Now that once I got the good looking body and everything, I'm like, then I started saying, hold on. I did the most important thing last. I really started working out for my health.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm starting to go for my health now.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But I told you it was steps on how I really did it. So I'm like, so now when I start working out for my health and everything, I'm like, oh, you gotta eat. But see, the health came after, because I learned when I was working out at first, y'all, it took my body like 7 to 8 years to transform. I still was stuck, stagnated.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a plateau.
Mm-hmm.
I was stagnated because I thought I could eat anything you know what I'm saying?
Right,
anything.
As long as you're working out.
As long as you're working out, you can eat whatever you want. That's bullshit, y'all.
Oh,
you
yes,
can't out train a bad diet.
Mm-hmm.
You can't out train a bad diet, and you're gonna feel it during that workout. And some things gonna shut down. And that's where all these diseases and health issues come from. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
So as I went that route, and once I learned and got my nutrition certification and learned how to eat, it wasn't nothing you couldn't tell me then. Now I can change anybody, and I can do it, and I can do anything I want to with your body as well as my body.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? As long as you follow this blueprint and follow this plan, you're going to look like this, or you're going to look like that. So, you know, and that's when it became. And now when you start learning about the foods and stuff you put in your body, now you start learning about the health issues and everything that come in. And that's when I started like, I ain't doing this for no woman no more. I ain't doing this for, I'm doing this for me.
Right.
And I'm doing this for my health. And I'm doing this to live a long lasting life, because to be honest, my family actually has a long expectancy of life.
I really do.
Like, we really do. But now this little new food and all these extra steroids and things that they're putting in the foods and everything now, they're bringing on diseases to our youth and to our babies quicker than ever. You see what I'm saying? That's why our kids and stuff are
ADHD
so big.
And autism and all of these things.
All that comes from the food.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, you got foods that heal and foods that kill. You feel what I'm saying? And the foods that kill are the same foods that heal. Mm-hmm. It's just that when you overindulge in them, that's how they kill. Mm-hmm. So you have to be moderate about that. You see what I'm saying? It's really about how to eat to live. Mm-hmm. Not live to eat. You don't live to eat, and that's all everybody talks about. Oh, you go ahead. I'm hungry. You want to go ahead? You want to go? When I first got home, I said,
because I feel attacked.
I'm sorry. When I first got home, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I. You want to go here? You want to go? God damn, they about to kill me.
We be hungry.
Yeah, so
we be hungry. We hormonal, okay? We be hungry.
I understand.
We crave things. We be having.
I understand. But I just want, because I love you women to death, as well as I love you dudes, man. For real, I love everybody, to be honest. I don't have an enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have a hate bone in my body for no one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just a God-fearing man who want to see everybody strive and do great and live a healthy and comfortable life. And I know we all have to go home one day. I know that. But as long as I just don't want to go home in pain. When my maker calls me, he just called me, and I want to die like my great grandmother. She died in her sleep, beautiful. What, she was 103? 104? 104. I'm trying to go like that. Yep. That's always been my hero. Yep. If I want to go like that. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother Mabel died at 93, 94? That's cool. That's cool.
That's a full life, yeah.
That's a full life. What more can you ask for? And guess what? She broke my heart on the phone. I'm talking to her in my cell. FaceTime. She said, when you coming, baby? I said, this was 2022. Going into 23. She said, when you coming, baby? I said, I'm trying to come right now, Grandma. I said, I got something in appeals court right now that I'm waiting for him to answer. She's like, okay. I'm holding on, baby, but Grandma getting tired. She told me, she said she getting tired. And tears just rolled down my eyes. I said, hold on for me, baby. She said, I'm holding, baby. I'm trying to catch, I'm trying to catch you, but I'm just getting tired. You know what I'm saying? But guess what?
But they always know.
Yeah, and she went to sleep peacefully. She went to sleep peacefully. But look, she held on for 2 more years and left me in November 16th of 24.
A month before you came home.
She left me. Yeah. Was it 24?
Oh, the year before.
Year before. I think it was 23. Yeah, 23. Yeah. She left me in 23. Yep. She left me in 23. She held on though. You see what I'm saying?
She definitely did. You know, she was holding for you.
Yeah. So you know, like I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Like my story ain't no greater than nobody else because I know it's some people that got mind blowing stories. I'm just telling you about mine and what made me who I am today, and what and what brought complete turnaround off the shelf and put it into right now. And right now it's like I got a long way to go with complete turnaround. But I've only been out here for like 6 months. And
look how far you've come.
And I mean, and complete turnaround is it has acquired a nice amount of business, being as though I mean like, in 6 months, come out and I'm up to like 21 clients. I eat, sleep, and shit this all day long. So
every day. I'm fighting for my time now. You understand what I'm saying? Like be getting his ass. Because,
Amen.
Because I love him. I love his energy. I love the way. In all fairness, yes, I be getting it. But in all fairness, when he touched down, this is one of the first places he came, and we immediately got on this floor and got busy.
Because I always tell my family, like I said, everything I said I was going to do in prison, I meant it, and I'm coming home to do so. And the most number one thing was I wanted to bring both sides of my family. And right now, both sides of my family, they just call me the glue, the link of all the family. So, and we got some things going on, like some family members that haven't talked and seen each other in years are
almost now, as long as your bed.
Yep. This is as long as my bed are now getting together. We're putting together family reunions. And we're just at peace. We're just happy. You know what I'm saying? So now the only thing, like with me now, I'm just trying to get my as soon as I get me together, I can quote unquote really get my love life together. Absolutely. and get my my foundation, because I want to have a foundation and be be in a household under a roof, with the woman of my dreams, and what I'm saying, and
you're entitled to that,
and and just have a family and be grown. Not the streets is dead for me. To be honest, like I'm really tired of it. But the thing is that I'm still in them somewhat. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in them, meaning like going to clubs and things like that. You
still outside a little bit.
I'm still
That's because you ain't touched outside in so long. You just kind of even the club life is family life for you. Right. A lot of people don't understand.
Right.
It's not just that you a reckless party animal.
Right. There you go.
Your family plays for the band.
Right.
You are everybody knows you from the go-go scene.
Right.
Exactly. So that is still a family connection situation too that a lot of people don't.
So I mean, I'm glad she touched on that, because that is really a main reason why I attend the go-go's and things like that, because like she said, because it's family, you know what I'm saying? I'm still supporting, and like I told you, I'm coming to, get my whole family together. And so you'll know this is your cousin, this is your brother, you know what I'm saying? This is your aunt, this is your uncle, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you will know that dealing with me, you know what I'm saying? So, it's a beautiful thing, but my main thing is, I just thank the Creator, because he guided me and still guide me and taught me so much, and still teaching me. And now I know he comes first, and I put him first before any and everything. Like I really don't move unless he gives me the okay to move. Period. You see what I'm saying? So I might be in a situation that makes this person unhappy, but if God telling me this is going to make you unhappy, and you're not going to be in the right thing, or you're not going to be able to help this person in this situation, you're not going to be able to help the person that you want to help, then you gotta move on.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You got to continue to do this until you be able to help this person. So I'm moving in God's accord.
Yeah.
All the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I don't mean to hurt feelings, especially my love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to hurt no one or do anything, but I have to do what I have to do to make things right for the near future. Because I've always lived for the future. I never was a today nigga. Mm-hmm. I never was that. I don't live for the day. I never have. I never will. I live for the future. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not the type to, I'm out in the street, I got bankroll in my pocket. I never would. I got bankroll in my pocket. I'm just going to spend all this money like today is my birthday, or like this is my last day on earth. No, I'm going to wake up to a bankroll. Yeah. I have to wake up to a bankroll. Yeah. I have to wake up, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to enjoy myself, but I have to have money put away. Right. I'm not going out of nobody's country or nobody's town if I don't have a bag. A comfortable bag. There you go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got to be able to come home, pay my bills, live comfortably, and still have something to do and help the kids and pay for my stepchildren, do whatever I need to do. You know what I'm saying? All that, you know, however it goes, you know, hopefully one day I'll have my own child. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, if not, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, all my family's kids are my kids, so it's nothing. It's
we got plenty.
Yeah, and they got plenty.
We got plenty.
Yeah,
we got plenty, and a lot of their daddies is absent.
You know, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Welcome home, Dad.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for your ass. You kids are wearing us the fuck out.
That's crazy. Yeah, man. So you know, I thank y'all. You know, if there's anything you want, you know, elaborate on more.
For sure. Well, definitely. You know, I you know, of course, I appreciate you and your transparency. You know, sometimes we're dealing with certain things. We're trying to overcome certain things. It's hard to share. You know, it ain't for everybody, but I think your story is one that is needing enough to be told, where people can get an understanding of how impactful the things that you do now are based off of where you come from. Right. You know, you really went into a fucked up situation and completely turned your life around.
Amen.
Created a brand, created a business, which also incorporates you helping other people completely turn their life around. You made promises in prison about what you were going to do when you came home to help turn people's lives around. And you came home and you stood on all that shit. And like I said, I admire the fuck out of that. Like, it's about 5 of y'all motherfuckers out here. Just, you know, solid men that stand on their motherfucking word. I ain't saying you're perfect. None of us are. Right. But there's some things that I can stand on all 500 behind you, as far as being a solid motherfucker, being a man of your word, and really fucking coming out here and producing. You're not talking shit. You hit this fucking ground running. Like, down to this being one of your first stops. And I'm talking about the first day I saw you since we were kids. We was in here working out. Man. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that will be with me. That's the stuff that can't nobody tell me nothing fucked up about you. Right. And I ain't ready to go to war about it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, y'all man knew what you knew. But what I know, y'all not gonna fuck with him. Because y'all gonna have to get to me first. Amen. And it's an army of motherfuckers they're gonna have to get through. You know what I mean? Because your ass is protected out this motherfucker. You know, I also just wanted to shed a little light on just behind the you know, the complete turnaround fitness brand. What all, I know your family traumas. I know, you know, things that you went through with your mom. Right. I know that the things that just going in there and having people kind of see what you were doing kind of helped with your transition. But what really made you just stick with it? Because people get into those situations, in those environments, and they'll start something, just like even down to the religion. You know, people, right. And then they decide, and you know, shit get caught up. You get in there to get the fight. There's so many distractions inside them walls that people don't understand.
I can answer that so fast, though, for sure. I'm going to be honest. You know what really made me stick with it? Mm-hmm. The passion, the respect, mm-hmm. the praise mm-hmm. that people give me when their transformation, or just how they feel after that. Like, just the like they put you on. I got like chills running through my body mm-hmm. now, because they put you on a high. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like you like, wow, like mm-hmm. they put you all the way up here like, short. Is there anything I can do? This, short, is this. Fitness brought a person into my life, honest to God, that helped me every step of the way. Help me. Paid money. Didn't help me, didn't spend my own money. Helped me save my own money and paid money for lawyers and everything to get me out in these streets. From me training a dude in prison, he went back and told a friend that he deals with on the outside. He told her about me and how I run my business in prison and how I run it out of a little mock closet and things like that, and how I do everything like that. And she was so blown away and amazed at how I do it and she wanted to see and she wanted to know my story. So she wanted to know. And guess what? I've known her for 6 going on 7 years. Now, if you talk about a best friend, through all, and guess what? No lead, no relationship, no, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, she tried to present herself at me when she first came to visit me. When I shot it down, the most honest I ever been to a female. I shot it down and told, no, if that's not what I'm looking for, and if you into trying to come by me, I'm not in here for that. And then you can go. She thought about it. Emailed me days later and said, I want to help you make complete turnaround grow. She said, I love that you're real. I love that you didn't lead me on or anything, because any man would have tried.
I was getting ready to say the expectation would be that because you the inmate. Hell yeah, shit, and you're gonna
exactly. I'm gonna jump. Guess what? That got me more than anything. Absolutely. And I ain't gonna lie. She paid for lawyers. She paid for cell phones. She paid, and guess what? That's my ace boon coon right now. You see what I'm saying? We don't have a sexual relationship. Right. We don't have a lovey-dovey relationship. We don't have that. We have a God-fearing relationship.
Friendship and business
relationship. And business relationship. Period. You feel what I'm saying? So when I say that's what makes me, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. When people just be like, this is what I'm saying, like, this fitness, they didn't put me on a level as a king. They put me on a level. I got more attention from fitness than I did when I was in the go-go. Be honest.
And it's for all the right reasons.
All the right reasons.
You're in a good life. You know what I mean? You're on a pedestal. You're on a great life.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's all walks of life. You know, like the go-go got certain people.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? Sure. No, this right here, you know, you got to know how to be you got to know how to be gifted. Know how to talk to everyone.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Yep. You just can't have this slang of talk, I guess, congos and bongos and stuff like that, whatever. I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? Or be talking about, you know what I'm saying, or talking the street.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this 38 grand to get you right. You know, no. You have to know. And then there's some people in this fitness, like I said, it's some people like when you got those that don't know nothing about slang, or you know what I'm saying, or talk about you know, your bicep. You got to tell people a bicep or a Brock Killers. You can't tell them, you know, some people you can't tell them work your back on. Yeah, they gonna tell you, wait.
Right.
Why no, you know, but then they gonna be a little smart with it. Right there, yeah, your Brock Killers. You know what I'm saying? You have to know the language. And that's what it does. That's what this fitness does. It broadens your horizon, you know what I'm saying? So you can speak to all and everybody. So it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing, but that's what makes it, cuz. That's what really made me, that's what really made me say, this is what I'm sticking with. The feeling that I get from it, the praises, the love that I get from it, to see people. I just made a post today on Facebook saying, I love helping people and feeling, you know what I'm saying? And feeling like having them feeling helpful. You know what I'm saying? I always love that. So I love people that love me to help them. I love it. So, you know what I'm saying? And I love when they feel grateful that, you know, that they got help. So that brings joy to me to see another person feel great about themselves.
For sure.
And so when they come and bring it to me, and like, man, thank you and thank you and what? Oh, I got to keep going. I got to see if I can do this to the next person.
Okay.
I go.
That's real. Because even, before you get, I've been doing my thing too. But it's a difference when I'm doing my thing over here and then when we get together.
No question.
And we work out. It's a high for me.
Yeah.
One, it's like our bonding time. So it's a good time. But then it's also like I feel different because I know how serious you take this shit. I know what it means to you to make sure that when I leave from after working out with you, I get you the next day to tell you how fucked up I am because that means you did your job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you take it serious. Like you take your time. You're very specific with your clients. You know what I mean? Even though sometimes you do group situations, but you know your clients. Yeah. You're very specific with them. You take your time with your people. The work that you're even doing with yourself is admirable because it just shows how serious you are about helping people. You know how important it is to get you right. You know what I mean? You know that you really can't do shit or be shit for nobody unless you're right, especially coming out of what you came out of. So, how I feel. I laid it down. I just it's a different world, man. And this fitness thing and how it all ties into play. Fitness has become, even for our family at this point, just almost like a foundation, for healing, right, for therapy, for coming together, and it's so wild how many of us are tied into this field, So like we got cousins, we got my brother, what I mean, God rest his soul, like this was his life. He was martial arts master, jujitsu, and he trained for years. The boy was we know that boy was cut up. That thing was solid as a rock. That's how he lived in Bali for 10 plus years, training, building properties, training people from all around the world. So this is like really, I almost feel like our calling, so to speak, what I mean? And us reuniting even the way that we did 20 something years later in life as adults, after all this trauma and loss from your side, from my side, which is our side, because your loss and my loss is each other's losses, Amen. And coming together at a time where we all needed that healing and we were all on the same playing field, getting ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally together. And I think it's just commendable. I think it's commendable what you're doing. I'm going to support you 1,000 times over. Amen. You say, yeah, pull up, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got going on, I got your back. And I just think this is really dope. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what the future holds for you, for us, for our family. Yes. We got a lot of things coming up I'm so excited about. And thank you for being a glue cousin, because you definitely came home and fixed That's a whole nother episode, okay? That's going to be a whole nother episode. We broadcasted live from my first annual family reunion. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that is just saying is giving me chills. But yeah, thank you for doing this. And thank you. Y'all know y'all gonna see. I'm gonna be intertwined in the workouts. When y'all see this, it's gonna be properly put together. You're gonna get a real taste of who Mr. Complete Turnaround Fitness is. I'm gonna even show you what he was doing